بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم.
Good morning, students. I'm your science teacher, Kenneth Irfan, and today we are going to start your chapter number 14, Compounds and Mixture. Chapter number 14, Compounds and Mixture. This chapter is present in your book at page number 140. Open your books at page number 140. All the students of class 7, open your books at page number 140. Here, the chapter is compounds and mixture. As we know, when we see around us, there are a lot of non-living things. You know very well, from the beginning you are in the previous classes, you have understood the difference between living and non-living things. But the simply living things, they remain present at the same time, they cannot move, they don't need food, they do not need any air to be alive, or like something like table, chair, window, wall, paper, book, and all the things the around you. A lot of things are non-living things. These non-living things are made up of matter. Now, before starting the topic element, it is necessary to understand matter. What is matter? Anything which has a mass and occupies space is called matter. Where it's not necessary how much space it is taking. It can be very smaller, it can be very bigger. It can be very smaller as a dust particle, it can be very bigger as a wall or building or like something. All these things are made up of matter. So matter is anything which has a mass and occupy space. Matter has three states. Solid, liquid, gases. These are three states of matter. When we see around us, a lot of things are present in a solid form. Many things are liquid like water, like oil. Many things are present in a gaseous form like air. Air is a mixture of gases. So all the gases, all the liquids, all the solids, they are made up of matter. These are three states of matter. We can easily understand the three states of matter by the example of water. For example, when we keep the water in the refrigerator, it changes its shape, but its particle remain the same. The properties remain the same. They are changed into solid. But when we take out the ice from the refrigerator, after some time it changes into water, that is liquid, means solid changes into liquid. Now when we heat the water, it changes into water vapors, it changes into gas and evaporate in the air. So that is the form of gas. Now the liquid has changed into gas. So by the example of water, we can easily understand the states of matter. Now element. What is element? That is written in your book, consists of only one kind of atom that cannot be broken down into simpler type of matter. Means anything which have the same type of atoms. Atoms are the basic unit of non-living things, and all the thing which we are going to discuss, they have the same type of atoms. For example, if we take the example of iron, when we break the iron into smaller and smaller pieces. But the time will come that we cannot break down the very smaller pieces into further parts. So that will be called as element. Elements are of different types, means like different gases are also the example of elements. Some elements are present in the solid form like iron, gold, nickel, cobalt, bronze. Bronze is not an element anyhow. So these are type of elements like hydrogen, oxygen. These are gases, but these are elements. So what is element? Element is consists of only one kind of atom and cannot be broken down into simpler type of matter, either by physical or chemical reaction. What is physical and chemical reaction? Physical reaction means simply we can do that. For example, if we keep the water into refrigerator and take out the ice and put on the table and it will change into water. These are the physical changes, because there is no any like the water remains water, properties remains the same. There is no change, no new thing is formed. But if there comes any reaction in which new things are formed, that will be called as compounds. For example, if two elements join together and a chemical reaction takes place, these elements individually they have their own properties, but when they change into compound, they will change the properties. Their properties will entirely change. So these are the physical and chemical reaction. Like chemical reaction in which some new thing is formed and cannot be reversed easily. And physical reaction is a reaction which can be reversed easily. We can easily change the water into solid form ice, ice into water. This is a physical change. Anyhow, uh, elements. They can exist as either atoms or molecules. Some elements they exist as a single form. Means, for example, if we say that they are all have the same type of atom. For example, it's a little part of iron. This is the example of iron. All the iron has the same type of particles. So this is called as element. Okay. But for example, if these are two different types of element. These are different while this one is different. When they combine together, they are changed into compound. They are changed into compound. Now see what is compound. Consists of atoms of two or more different elements. Two or more different elements bound together. Means when they come closer and a bond is increased in between them. What is bonding? Bonding means the share of electrons. When they share their particles, so a condition is created. This attraction or condition which is created a new one, this is called bonding. Means if they have created some bonds in between them, means different elements they are joining and they are going into a chemical process. A chemical bond is created in them and now they have changed the properties. It will be changed into compounds. That can be two elements, that can be element and compound, that can be compounds and elements. So it's a little typical. Compound consists of atoms of two or more different elements bound together that can be broken down into simpler type of matter. For example, these are the elements of one type and these are the elements of other type. For example, first type and this is a second type. These are different atoms. These are different atoms of element and these are the atoms of another element. They are different in size, they are different in shape. Means they are different atoms of different elements. These are the atoms of one element, these are the atom of another element. Now, they are going to mix together, they combine together and a chemical reaction takes place. When the chemical reaction takes place, they are bound together. They are bound together in a new shape. For example, one atom of this type, this one, and two atoms of one atom of this element, two atoms of this element, they are joined together. Now they are bound together and the properties of, for example, they have some properties like that they are non-reactive, means they do not react, and they are reactive. And when they change into another compound, they all do not react, means their property is completely changed. Now they cannot be reversed easily. If they can be reversed easily, they will be called as mixture, but if they cannot reversed easily, they will be called as compound. Now we will read from your book. Compounds consist of atoms of two or more different elements bound together that can be broken down into a simpler type of matter elements by chemical means, but not by physical means. Means there should not be a physical means, there should be chemical means involved. Chemical means chemical reaction, and chemical reaction is with which they have changed properties. Now come towards the mixture. Consists of two or more different elements and or compounds. Means for example, I'm going to show you as shown in your book. Okay, these are of same type of atoms. Same type of atoms. These are called elements. Now, there is another example. So these are different from these one. These are looking like the same, but these are different from these one. This is called mixture. That can be separated easily because they are not bind together. Now there is another example. For example, one is taken from this one and one from this one. This will be called as compound. Now you can easily understand they are the example of element. This is element, this is another element. These are the example of element. Now this element and this element is mixed together, but they remain separate. They remain separate. This is called mixture. Now in the third form, one atom of this element and other atom of this element, they are joined together by a chemical reaction. This is called as compound. Now how can compounds formed? Here in this example we can understand that compounds can be formed by physical changes, physical forces and chemical forces. And what do you mean by physical and chemical forces? Let's see from your book at page number 141. When we discuss change in matter, physical forces create the changes. When we talk about compounds, bonds are created and broken down by chemical forces. Like when they are going to join, they have created bonds in between them. Bonds are of two types, ionic bond and covalent bond, and these ionic and covalent bond definitely we will read in higher classes or maybe in the next other chapters. So they are bind together. The bond is created in between them. Physical forces alone cannot break down compounds. Physical forces cannot break down compounds. Chemical forces are the forces generated by other compounds that act on substance. Means only the chemical substances, chemical forces. When we apply chemical forces, then the bonds can be broken down or formed, not by the physical. Okay, you can apply a physical force of heat to melt an ice. This is a physical force. Now the ice is changes into water, and when we heat more, this water which changes into water vapors or gas. So this is a physical change. No new thing is formed. Only the state of the matter is going to change. So these are not compounds. So you can also pour a liquid acid on a solid. Have you ever experienced when we pour an acid on the any other solid? A chemical reaction, heat is produced and some other change like acid burn the other things. This is a chemical change. So it means some bonds are formed and they have changed their states. Now we will take the example of sodium chloride. We will take the example of sodium chloride. Sodium alone itself is non-reactive. Alone is, very reactive, but when it create a bond with the chlorine and form the sodium chloride, which is a table salt normally used in our homes, salt, that is called sodium chloride, and now it has changed its form and it has become non-reactive. So it means that property is going to change. So this is a way how the compounds are formed. How we can how can compounds be broken down? They can be broken down by decomposition. So it is necessary to understand what is decomposition. Decomposition means to break down into smaller pieces. So when a compound is broken down into smaller pieces or into the constituent elements, means the elements with which they are formed. They are broken down into elements with which they are formed. So this is called decomposition. So Compounds can be broken down by the decomposition. When we eat food particles are complex particles like carbohydrates, protein, fats. These are complex particles. When they go into our stomach, hydrochloric acid or some other chemical reaction takes place and they break down into smaller pieces and they change into element with which they are formed. So this is a way how we can break the compounds. There are three ways by which we can break the compounds. Types of decomposition reaction. There are three types of reaction with which we can break down the compounds into their constituent element. Again, I am going to tell you what are constituent element. Constituent element with which the compounds are formed. Now, the first type is thermal decomposition reaction. Thermal, as thermal means heat. When we provide heat to the compounds, they are broken down into smaller pieces. So, when we provide heat, it breaks down. This reaction is called thermal decomposition reaction. Electrolytic decomposition reaction. Electricity. Electrolyte means electricity. Means when we provide it electricity, they can also break down into smaller pieces. So it will be called as electrolytic decomposition reaction. Photo means light. Photo means light. Some reactions, some compounds are broken down by the light, sunlight and some other lights. So when we provide light to decompose the compounds, this reaction will be called as photo decomposition reaction. All these three decomposition reaction we will see in the next class. So now come towards the homework. You are given few questions like here are few definitions like elements, compounds, mixture. These are present at your page 141. So you will do these definitions from here. There is another question, what is decomposition? So you can write it from page 141. You can take the help of decomposition. So I think it will not be very difficult for you to do the homework because everything is explained to you right now, and these are the answers. Definitely you can find from your book as well, and you can write it by own self as well. Do the homework properly, carefully, and neat work should be. But before starting the work, you will make a title page. First title page you will make. The final term has been started, and on the other page you will make a title page of chapter number 14, compounds and mixture, and then you will start the question answers. Thank you very much. Take care. Allah Hafiz.